TIL Viggo Mortensen would not have taken the part of Aragorn in Lord of the Rings had it not been for his 11-year-old son's enthusiasm for the books. He performed his own stunts, insisting he used a real steel sword, and he also purchased the 2 horses, whom he rode and bonded with over the duration of the films. Okay, but where was he when the Westfold fell? This dude is busy. Surprised at how long this wiki page is. Viggo does not have commit to anything. Pretty sure he also bought the horse from Hidalgo. Edit, Viggo-Viggo. My favorite Lord of the Rings cast fact is about Sir Christopher Lee. Ever since Lord of the Rings was released by book, he read it every single year as a treat to himself. He was personally asked to be Saruman by PJ because of his knowledge of all things Tolkien and the fact that he is the only cast member on the entire crew that had actually met Tolkien when he was alive, predating the films by nearly 40 years. Sir Christopher Lee is a diamond that still shines to this day. R.I.P. Edit, I've never had such attention on a single comment of mine. I'm stunned, and in all fairness, some people are coming out with some golden facts about him. Honestly, just do a bit of reading if you don't know him. His story is legendary from start to finish. He's a cool dude. Also an artist. I recently rewatched the trilogy and never noticed before that the horse that rescues him after he falls into the river on the way to Helm's Deep is Brego, the horse that he had told them to set free earlier in the film. He continues to ride Brego after he is rescued. I heard that for a history of violence he actually worked with the mob and in a small town diner. And in Eastern Promises he actually got a Russian citizenship and went to spend time in the gulags. What a professional. Elijah Wood used a real ring of power forged by a Dark Lord. That's why he still looks so young today. But did you also know when he kicked the helmet he broke his toe? That fight scene in Eastern Promises though. An 11-year-old reading Lord of the Rings, and then there's me, skipping long Reddit posts that don't have a TLDR. He also broke his toe in the helmet kick scene. The angry scream is 100% legitimate. It was so good that he and Jackson agreed it was the best take. Repeatedly showed up late for shoots because he wandered off to go fishing. They had to have runners go find Aragorn numerous times. Funny, considering the context. Kept losing props on said expeditions, and ended up buying the prop team lunch more than once. I'll add more if I can remember. The behind-the-scenes section of the trilogy covers most of the cast shenanigans. Edit, he and Bean also insisted on weathering their costumes and props naturally. Bean was afraid to fly and hike to set in full costume, while Mortensen kept his costume on whenever possible, and insisted on being allowed to fish in it. The whole team, cast and crew, really went out of their way. I doubt we'll see such an endeavor again for a while. Viggo just seems like one of those dudes I'd like to be friends with. Can you do like a course at community college for something to be this cool? He also talks with a flawless Argentinian accent, childhood, as well as Danish parents. Viggo's Aragorn is up there with Reeves's Neo and Jackman's Wolverine as one of the most iconic film characters of the early 00s, IMO. He just oozed authenticity. This has probably been pointed out somewhere here, but he also nearly got arrested walking into a restaurant wearing his sword. He carried it with him everywhere and simply forgot he had it on him. Awesome guy, reached maximum bonding level with his horse. I think I read on Reddit once that he broke his toe on set. He wouldn't have taken part in Eastern Promises if it wasn't for his wife's enthusiasm for dangly Russian ball sacks. My wife once saw him at an empanadas place in Studio City. She said she was totally starstruck right up until he put his hand down his pants to scratch his butt while waiting to order. I own a copy of the books in my library and tried to read them long ago and hated the prose style and stopped. Just seriously started reading it yesterday and I'm not sure why I didn't like them. It's exciting to be reading Lord of the Rings for the first time. I think seeing the movies helped, knowing and loving the characters already. He had to use real swords to fight the newly created Uruk-hai. They were big. Viggo is such a weird dude. Like, he seems incredibly nice and chill, but he's still so bizarre. Thanks Viggo for raising the bar so high for the rest of us regular fathers. He also is a huge Montreal Canadiens fan, so much there are reports he wore Habs attire under his costume while filming. I lost the source for this, though he may have said it during Guy Lafleur's number retirement ceremony that he attended. He also started to learn French by listening to the games on radio. As someone who grew up loving these films as well as hockey, Viggo has always been one of my favorite actors as a kid. He is one of the reasons why I decided to pursue acting in the first place. As far as performing your own stunts, I always think of that one quote by Danny Trejo. I know that all the big stars hate me to say this, but I don't want to risk 80 people's jobs just to say I got big huevos on the Tonight Show. Because that's what happens. I think a big star just sprained an ankle doing a stunt, and 80 or 180 people are out of a job. We have stunt people who do that stuff. And if they get hurt, I'm sorry to say but they just need to put a mustache on another Mexican and we can keep going. But if I get hurt, everybody's out of a job. So I don't choose to do that. Viggo Mortensen. What a feeling that kid must have had that his dad was fucking Aragorn. Well, in my mind, the actor playing Aragorn was actually Aragorn. Here's https://66. Media. Tumblr. com/e68@38062f389518994ec49b2561/tumblr_mipigndlw1ridenfa1_500. JPG, Aragorn fishing in between takes. Prove me wrong. Broke his foot. The mother of that son is Exene Cervenka from the band X. Guy seems like such a class act and completely stays out of the Hollywood circle jerk, need more like him. I heard he can throw a knife with his broken toe. All while talking 8 languages. So. If no one's gonna say it, I will. He also has a huge dong as seen in the movie Captain Fantastic. He's also Lucifer. He also broke his toes while filming, and they kept the scene in the film. Source, https://m. Zimbio.com/real and onset and accidents and that and became and classic and movie and moments/articles/mvkavdycp2/Viggo and Mortensen and breaks and toes. I read he also purchases the 2 horses, whom he rode and boned over the duration of the films. I knew this but every time I read about it, it's like finding out for the first time. He's just simply the best. My brother, my captain, my king. He would have made an amazing Roland Deschigne crying face. One of those situations where they originally wanted a different guy but now you couldn't imagine the role being played by anyone else. He was perfect. This, at 40 seconds, https://youtube.b/fjf8pusixtg, was also a real stunt performed with a real knife. Deleted. Did you know he broke his toe and it was a real knife? I have a hard time believing that an actor would pass up the opportunity to have a leading role in 3 movies filmed all at once, especially when everyone in the industry was expecting the movies to be massive success. He also wasn't exactly an A-list actor before the movies came out. He also bought the main horse he used in Hidalgo. I misread this as punched the 2 horses and just spent 5 minutes looking for that scene on YouTube. Wasn't Nicolas Cage also considered for Aragorn? That's not a world I'd want to live in. Anyone who watched the behind-the-scenes footage from the extended editions knows this. Great content if you haven't watched it. His son is a buddy of mine. Really cool dude. Used to dye his hair different colors all the time in middle school. I'm late to the party, but my grandfather taught Viggo to ride horses. He said he was a good guy and that he could have been a cowboy if he had wanted, which is the highest praise that my grandfather can give. Watch him in Captain Fantastic. It is one of my very favorite movies and he is so good in it, like everything I've seen him in. Hey, it's that one Reddit fact again. It's been a few days.